Okay, let's see. This is a test. We're testing our ability to, let's just see, to broadcast on Facebook as we normally do, YouTube at the same time, and Soulogy group and the Soulogy One Studios page. Looks like we got 22 people. Let me see if I can get this set up right. We're testing this the first time. Let's see here. All right, let's put this here. Is this going to be? So, yeah, we got 28 people on our page that we normally originate on. We got 2 people in YouTube, 7 people in the Soulogy group, and 1 person on the Soulogy One Studios. Now the only question is, how the hell are we going to see all the comments? Let me try this. This might work. View event. Okay. Yeah, I don't think I want to do that. Yeah, so we got, we're just going to kind of ease our way into this. How's it going, everybody? I can't see any comments at the moment. I'll tell you what, let me pull up the comments from our normal page. We got 35 people on. We're going to have a great show today. Let me see here. Just bear with me. Yeah, we got some people in the house. All right. So, yeah, today, hello, everybody. Good to see you. Can we get subtitles? We'll work on that. Okay. Yes, I got you on YouTube as well. Okay, that's working out. So, yeah, this is going to be our new way of broadcasting. So until we can further expand, which we obviously need resources to do that. So we're going to keep on keeping on. So we've got 48 people on my personal page where we normally broadcast, because that's the one that is least suppressed by Facebook. And we've also got 4 people in Soulogy One Studios page and 12 people in the Soulogy group. And we've got 8 people on YouTube. So I'm going to just play with this for a minute. It's 9:27 Eastern time. Is that a green screen behind you? No. This is a gift from Scott Ware and his beautiful partner. He gave us 3 backdrops and a stand for it. So today, in about 2.5 hours, we are going to have a young man, an 8-year-old boy that Michael Whitefeather over in Israel befriended. And this 8-year-old boy, he channels the Pleiadians and the Arcturians. Now, I listened to a tape yesterday, a recording of him yesterday, and I've heard, obviously, like a lot of you, I've heard a lot of channelings over the years, and this boy was very clear, and it was really interesting because, let me see if I can get this set up right. This is kind of weird. Oh, okay. So it won't let me do that. Oh, there it is. That's just mine. Anyway, this boy channels the Pleiadians and the Arcturians, and I listened to a little bit of the recording, and he was asked by Michael, what's going on right now, for instance, and he said this is all part of the ascension, things being released, things being brought to the surface and such. He talked about the financial reset that people talk about. So it's going to be a very interesting show. And I'm just letting you know, it'll be on in 2.5 hours, and it'll be live on my page, on the Soulogy One Studios page on Facebook, on the Soulogy Group page on Facebook, and it'll actually be live on YouTube as well. So this is really good. It's going to be good to hear from a young person. It's also going to be very unique to hear from a young person who's channeling and is a direct conduit for the Pleiadians, as I understand. That's who he's primarily channeling, as well as the Arcturians. So this is going to be a really phenomenal show as we approach 1,800 episodes of Soul Speaks 5D, which we're actually going to reach this coming week with the shows that we have planned. So just tune in if you can, and if you can't, you can watch the replays on Facebook or on YouTube. So this is a new, I guess, a new threshold for us to be able to broadcast live on, Zoom, YouTube, and the 3 Facebook pages all at the same time. So maybe we can get ahead of the algorithms a little bit. But as long as we have everybody on, maybe we should talk a little bit. We talked about last week, we talked about here I did, how we're not going to talk about any savior-based programming or any fear-based programming. I think everybody knows what we're talking about. And there's been a lot of people getting information, and the information that really resonates with Morgan and I has also, that other people are writing, has also been coming into us over the last few days. And she's going to be putting up a post about it. I know her, as soon as she feels that she fully understands what's been received. But the bottom line is, with it in general terms, is that we can, we're integrating. This whole trip is about integrating polarities, merging polarities, words such as dark and light, positive, negative, masculine, feminine, even words like good and evil. And so some of the information that's been coming in that's resonated with us and that is aligned with us in terms of what's been given to us and what we've received, and Morgan will write about that soon, and maybe we can even convince her or coerce her into coming on the show and talking about it. But has been that we all arranged this. I'm a big proponent of the type of intel that Franco Di Nicola puts out. And because his narrative, his intel, doesn't have the existence really of polarities. It's a story told from a higher perspective that we all share. And in his narrative, in his intel, as he's been putting it out there for so many years, is that we all chose to set up the design that was set up in this realm. And we've now arrived at the time where it's all coming to fruition. It's an important time to stay connected to the information, the code, the wisdom, the love that we have all connected to from our higher dimensional aspects. And in addition to that, not to ignore the humanity aspect that we all share as well. We can't be too rooted in the human aspect, and by the same token, we can't be too rooted with our head in the clouds. So we're right in the middle. Everything that we're doing is merging polarities, so we're right in the middle. And this is, I think, what's important to remember now. It's not about the hysteria or the perceived hysteria and perceived crisis. May I just remind everybody that there's, a lot of stuff being put out there, but maybe we should be reminded that 8,000 people a day die from starvation, mostly children. Now, this isn't to make you feel bad. This is to give you some perspective. We arranged all of this in the perfect design that we also perfectly constructed. And this is why we really came. We came here to be a part of this awakening. It's a good time to be focused on yourself. If you find yourself pointing the finger at other people, talking about how they're not awake, or how they're doing this, or how they're doing that, or this is wrong, or that's wrong, I think that's a really big red flag right now to send you to let you know, or let me know, that I'm not focusing on what I need to be focusing on. What do I need to be focusing on? What do you need to be focusing on? How do you make the greatest contribution to the collective and to yourself? How do you do that? You do that by to thine own self be true. You do that by keeping your own counsel. You do that by connecting with the universe in whatever name you give it, and continuing to shed the shrouds on our souls, to remove the shadows, to remove the illusion, to not be too entrenched into the human aspect experience, but by the same token, not to have our head in the clouds too much. We are integrating all polarities. We are integrating the physical and the non-physical, and there's been phenomenal experiences occurring with people all over the world. So, this is a great time to really look at what we've been doing over, the past few years in this lifetime, and even in previous incarnations. And what I'm talking about is, what frequencies have we been vibrating at, that didn't serve us, that we found that no longer serve us. Let's put it that way. What we found was, all of us, is that we were in many toxic relationships, and not just with people, but with institutions and beliefs. We were in codependent relationships, not just with people, but with beliefs, with jobs, with neighborhoods. The codependent frequency, the toxic relationship frequency, does not serve us anymore. Part of those frequencies are characterized by the wounded healer. What is the wounded healer frequency? But that is where we want to go out and help other people, which is fine. But what we have learned, and what we've come to understand, is that by helping ourselves, there's a simultaneous parallel reaction that occurs. The greatest gift we can give to humanity and to this universe, to ourselves and to the collective that share this realm with us, is to continue to work on ourselves, to create a higher love quotient within ourselves. And I'm not talking about the old human love quotient, where I do something for you expecting something back from you, or I give something to the world expecting something back from the world, or I go out and heal and help people to make myself feel better, when I totally ignore and deny and don't serve myself. There's nothing wrong. In fact, the road to this oneness and to this unity consciousness is through individuality, self-care, self-love, self-nurturing, self-realization, self-awareness, self-expansion, and self-actualization of this integration of the polarities that we've all contended with in this duality as we take it to the Trinity. So it's a good time to remember everything that we've been through. It's a good time to remember the things that served us no longer serve us now. It's a good time to examine our actions, our words, and eventually, as we get a handle on it, our thoughts. Why do we do the things that we do? Why do we say the things that we do? And why do we think the things that we do? Many of these things have been rooted in this codependent frequency, in this toxic relation frequency. And again, we're not just talking about our relationships with people, we're talking about our relationships with the external. The way I look at it, the universe is our twin flame. And the more we can align with it, the greater contribution that we can offer this collective. And that really has nothing to do, or let's just say it has less to do with how we go out and serve. It has more to do with how we serve ourselves. And we all know by now that's not a selfish statement. It's, it's the great divide has gotten wider and wider, and it's not about people being on one side and people being on the other. It's about the parallels of the polarities of what is real, what is reality on one side, and what is an absolute cartoon on the other side. You know, what is our reality? Our reality is that we are multidimensional beings. Our reality is that we're also human hybrid soul beings, and our reality is that we're merging a non-physical, our non-physical aspects with our human aspect, our physical with our non-physical. We're actually bringing dream state to the physical matter that we've constructed for ourselves. So it's a glorious time to be here. Everybody chose to be here. Everybody gave um, permission to be here. Everybody earned the right to be here. We are truly warriors, gods, goddesses, warrioresses, prophets, healers, ascended masters, magicians, and alchemists. We are universal soldiers in a very unique situation. Uh, you can call it an experience or an experiment, but we are in a situation here where we've been set up in the best of terms, where we carry universal seeds from all over the universe in a free will realm where we were put to sleep by our own volition, and how we've now waken up and we're putting into motion um, what truth is, what love is, what pure alignment is, and what expansion is, what universal expansion is. We're actually on the outer breath of Mother Creation as she expands her own awareness through our efforts, and it's a beautiful time. It's a time to love, and I don't mean love from the cliche, the new ageist cliche kind of fluffy love and light thing. I'm talking about love as in truth and as in owning every single part of this universe. There is no us and them. There is no good and bad. It is not going to perpetuate itself, and we can help this thing occur with more ease and grace by opening up our hearts even more than they're opened up now. If we get caught up in the old frequencies and vibrations of false earth love, or narratives of saviors coming to save us, or judgments uh, of others and things, and I'm talking judgments of good, bad, judgments of all kinds of stuff. Anything that takes away our power is a program. Anything that takes away our power, it doesn't matter what end of the spectrum it comes from. It doesn't matter if it comes from a perceived darkness or a perceived light. The bottom line, it's doing the same thing, right? Somebody said we are the heroes. You're damn right we are. The human is the hero. The human is the darling of the universe. The human is making this shift happen. The human has come a long, long, long way. And there is a collective tsunami building. And we are like Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz, who was seeking external solution after external solution until Toto ran behind the curtain and figured this shift out. And then, as we all know, she just had to, clapping her heels together wasn't even that was just a symbolic, ritualistic type of thing. All she had to do was set her intentions and go where she wanted to go. And we can do the same thing. Each and every one of us can visit other planets whenever we want to. Each and every one of us can remote view. These are like basically parlor tricks. They seem like extraordinary supernatural things to human beings, but they're not. Uh, they're just part of, I got lost my comment because somebody said they can't hear, but I think other people would have said they couldn't. So you might want to, but we can do these things. We can actually enhance all of our true natural skills, abilities, characteristics, by actually practicing them, by having belief in them. Uh, and that goes also with the true, pure consciousness, truth, love, spirit, soul, trust, freedom, sovereignty, all the same word, in each other, in ourselves, in each other. The more that we feed faith, the transitive verb, to trust and believe, the more that we feed spiritual inertia, something that's in motion, the more that we feed that, the more it expands. And this is where we're at today. We're at a point now where by by a push pull, a glide, a flow, a kick in the ass, this is a collective ascension, a collective transition, a collective transmutation, a collective transformation that is both potentially accelerated and or inhibited by the thoughts that we carry forward, because those thoughts are the root of our words and our actions. This is a great time to pick up the phone and tell somebody, hey, you know what? Remember that thing that happened between us? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I love you. Forgive me. Thank you. Ho'oponopono, or however that's said. It's a great time to reconcile. It's a great time uh, to put ourselves in isolation and solitude. And it doesn't have to be all day or for 2 weeks or for 2 days. It can just be a few minutes every day to go into a room or a closet or anywhere you want to go and just connect to the you, me, we, and it. And we don't even have to go into that space with questions. We can go into that space, as I'm getting huge validation right now. We can go into that space just simply being led by the GPS of our own feelings and sensations, the five that we have to the human aspect and those beyond. We can just go in and align with whatever you want to call it, the light, love, pure consciousness, God, goddess, source, universal intelligence. I mean, the thing about the universe, and we are made in the image, it knows everything, right? It's alignment. We almost don't even have to ask questions. We can actually just go into this space and align with it. And when we do that, answers come. If questions pop up, answers will begin to come. But the first and foremost order of the day is to align with our natural nature, because when we do that, we are like tuning forks. Other people start to align with us. And on a personal basis, what happens is our third eye expands more, if you want to put it in those terms. Our ability to telepath expands, and all the other skills and abilities that we deem from a human perspective start to expand. This is what's happening. Our ability to talk to the animals, our ability to telepath and communicate with elementals, inner Earth civilization, galactic star family. But remember, angels, archangels, uh, whatever the case is, divine essences. Remember, we are in the flesh. We are not only representatives of the multiverses in this realm with a particular purpose to expand ourselves, made in the image, therefore expand the universe. But remember, we are on the same level as anything and everything else. We are the angels, archangels, star family, light beings. In physical matter, we are the boots on the ground. The human is the hero. And when we can start looking at ourselves in this moment as equal to all those things, and understand that these channelings and transmissions and downloads and activations that we've been receiving, they're coming from us. They're coming because we've become more aligned. They're not coming from something external. You know, Morgan said something that was very profound to me. 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I said, man, every night, when we lay down and we put our hands together, it's amazing. Dragons come in, apparitions. We've had Star Family come in. We've talked about this. We've had Star Family come in translucent, but still with a physical, materialistic characteristics to it, where you can see the face and so on. And I said to her, man, we're getting more and more alignment. So I can't imagine what we're going to see now. They're going to actually like materialize, like skin and bones, almost like we are. And she said, I don't think so. I think what we are that. And then we're going to start seeing each other as that. And I think there are occurrences happening more frequently all over this world, where two or more gather, where these things are starting to happen and the evidence is irrefutable. It's irrefutable. We are those angels, archangels, star family, light beings, and every divine essences in the flesh, anchoring and embodying all those other aspects. And this is not new age cliches or bullshit. This is actually happening. Many of us have seen others morph. Okay. We've seen it on screen. We've seen it in person. And now we have these children coming onto the earth who are carrying this high frequency, like this young man that's going to be on today, 8 years old, who is channeling directly, communicating with Pleiadian and Arcturian energy complexes. We've got babies in the womb that are communicating with their mothers and their fathers, such as Shanine Mulan, and my own first grandchild, who's now 4 months old, telepath with me. These are the things that are happening. The more we can give our energy and focus and intention and love and trust and sovereignty to this magic, alchemic truth, our natural nature, as we see it in ourselves and we see it in others. And how does anything grow? By feeding it. And by the same token, let's look back at how we got here and what the journey was like. How did these things occur? How did all these horrible things and all these negative narratives and all this bullshit occur? Because we fed it. But we did this coming into this situation with a purpose, with an objective. We created this perfect design, okay? And it served its purpose now. And now this is this time that we've been talking about for thousands and thousands of years. And I can promise you, we don't want it to be over so quick. What we do want is we want to be able to handle this with more ease and grace. And we do that by the most simple human things. I'm not making fun of anybody, and I'm not trying to judge anybody. If I judge, it's just me personally. I'm judging all of us at the same time. But some very good friends of ours have put out a really good effort by saying, let's have 12 days of 12 random act of kindness for 12 days. And I'm thinking to myself, why? Why wouldn't we have random acts of kindness before the 12 days started? And why would we want to limit it to 12 days? Now, I totally applaud their efforts and give them big props for the idea, but this is how quantum works. We're operating in the linear, utilizing old linear programs, patterns, and behaviors to try to facilitate more ease and grace and try to validate our own actions. When the fact is, we're in a quantum atmosphere now. So what may have gotten us here yesterday, such as an initiative like that, was very applicable. But when we wake up today, we have that knowledge and we can expand it and go forth on this day, carrying a higher frequency and continuing to elevate and ascend. We are in the information age. We know that in the physical, as the internet has been the highest physical manifestation of the ethers. but we're now in an even more accelerated information age, because that physical aspect, that physical matter that we might call the internet, that's increased the idea, I'm sorry, that has increased the speed of learning. It's allowed us to start learning and taking information in like we did when we were babies. But now you combine that with the fact that we've moved into a new earth now, and then there's a quantum processing, a quantum manifestation mechanism, a quantum scientific, whatever you want to call it. It's changed. Our brains have changed. Our mind, the chatter, has taken a back seat. The ego has become our friend. Fear has become a beautiful red flag to let us know we have an opportunity. Everything has changed, and we can own what we are now, and we can do that without fear of all the things that we had fear of, to include death. A soul doesn't survive. And the reason I say that is because how can you say something survives if it never dies? How can you say something survives if it never dies? It's impossible. We go on forever. Let's live like that. And let's also understand that this isn't a hellhole. This is a beautiful, perfect design created by each and every one of us, whether we remember it or not. This is not a cliche. This is not bullshit. We orchestrated this whole thing, and we've done it. And we've done it. Don't do our best. Let's do our best not to get pulled down by the old linear programs, patterns, and behaviors. Let's expand this thing. And also, let's have tremendous respect and honor and love and reverence and gratitude for who we are, what we are, and what we're a part of. And not get bogged down in the cartoon. We're going to be on later today. I guess this was a successful transmission. We're on 4 different platforms, 3 on Facebook and 1 on YouTube. We're going to be back in 2 hours with a young man, an 8-year-old, who is communicating with the Pleiadians and the Arcturians. And I heard part of a 25-minute recording of this young man speaking, and I can promise you it's the real deal. We're going to do our best to continue to put out as much programming as we can. It's been a little bit rough, we appreciate any support, be it resources, contributions. We have a Patreon. We still have the PayPal. And, every time we bottom out, somebody kicks in, and I can just tell you, don't underestimate $5, $10, $15, whatever. I know everything's going to be all right. Everything is all right. It already is all right. And we have given so much in terms of gratitude and love and respect and nurturing and wounded healer healing to external mirrors of ourselves. And we're now learned to do it for ourselves. And I can promise you, let me just say this last thing, right? So a lot of people know that when I woke up, I went on the streets for 2 years. And I did that by my own choice. And like a lot of us, I had a lot of trauma. But one of the first things that the you, me, we, and it, the universe showed me, was that in the time leading up to that choice to go on the streets, when I had a lot of traumas, like we all do, I was depleting myself physically, mentally, and emotionally. And when I went out on the streets, the universe told me the best thing you can do for the children that you no longer have in your house, because you don't have a house, the best thing you can do for your afflicted or ill family members, the best thing you can do for your friends and for this world and for this universe is to pull yourself up to 100% or as close as you can get to 100% spiritual health, because your energy will be felt by the external, and like a tuning fork, others will come up to meet it. It doesn't even matter what you say. But if you continue to help others in an effort to try to feel better about yourself, in an effort to not look at the things within yourself, you're going to continue to tear yourself down. So bottom line is, the best contribution that we can make to this realm, to each other, to ourselves, to the multiverses, is to put ourselves in the best possible spiritual health. And that is endless in a positive way, not a negative way. Endless in that when we raise our vibration and our elevation and we expand, every time that we do that, we move to a higher ground and we now have a higher perspective. We have a different vantage point and we're able to see things that the human aspect calls shadows that we couldn't see before. Okay? And then it starts again. 100%, no matter what you see out there, no matter what you see, make it a priority, because it's not selfish. It's the best thing you can do to serve, but make it a priority every day to take yourself to the highest frequency of spiritual health, because you're like a tuning fork. And it doesn't matter if you're on a camera talking to 100 people or you're in your bedroom at home with the door shut just talking to the universe. You raise that frequency, you raise that vibration of your spiritual health, and we just put it in those terms. It's like an atomic, cosmic, soul-gasmic bomb that explodes on this grid, and everything that's happening on this earth grid is being felt throughout the multiverses. It's the best thing you can do for yourself and for the multiverses and everything in between. And that's a fact. So we've come a long way and we've done it. Now it's just a matter of walking that direction, of looking that direction, of being that what we now know that we are. There's no more doubt. There's no more doubt. It's time to rock and roll. And there's nothing to wait on. There's no event coming. There's no divine icon coming down on a chariot to save us. There's no spaceships to land. There's no truth movement that's going to save the world. Now, I'm not saying that certain things may or may not happen. All I'm trying to say is, remember, our job is to be zero pointed. Our job is to be in a place of 0 point, of no judgment, no resistance, no attachment. Okay? And if something is 10 degrees in the light away from the line of 0 point, or 10 degrees in the dark away from the line of 0 point, it has the same effect on you potentially of pulling you off the 0 point. Stay neutral. These are not cliches. These are not new ageisms. This has been written about, and it's a common thread in every single philosophy and religion. Okay? And it's been around since forever. There's only one energy in the multiverses, and we can call it many things. We can call it pure love. And to me, at a human level, it's love, it's truth, it's trust, it's soul, it's spirit, it's freedom, it's sovereignty. It is the I am soul. Thank you, my friends. Look for us in 2 hours. 8-year-old young man who communicates with the Pleiadians and Arcturians. I think it'll be a very powerful show. And then I think later on today, I can feel it because I'm getting all tingly that we're going to be putting, even though this is technically my day off. I think we're going to be doing some more broadcasting, utilizing this multi-streaming application that we have. And right now we're on 4 platforms, and I'm hoping that we can add to that and maybe, put another 4 or 5 and be on, say, 10 platforms within a few days. Wishing you all your own peace, power, protection, and big love. All blessings to you and yours. Peace out.